creatures from the world of the undead.
The most bizarre.
Devil worship, Satanism, black magic, or witchcraft. Zodiac killer.
All lights go out and the monsters are released from their coffins.
Now, prepare yourself for the most gruesome and grotesque experience of them all. The Creep-O-Rama.
This is all new info.
Appropriate time to crack open.
Yep.
There you go.
There we are.
I feel like mom and dad are out of town and Josh and Derek are throwing a party. Just going to talk about shit that Justin and James would never talk about.
Yeah. It's funny. I did tell them while they were here, because I was like, yeah, we're recording on Monday. And they were like, oh, really? You guys are doing an episode without us? What are you going to talk about? And I was like, hockey. Like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it's still like relevant to the podcast. Just it's a little, it's Creep-O-Rama adjacent, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity for us to talk about it, which, I mean, both of us love hockey. I know that.
That's true.
Where I think Justin and James don't care much about sports in general. I think James might have a little more of a slight interest than Justin
James
does,
could get into it. We'll preface this for those listening at home. Obviously, Justin and James are on the road with Kevin Smith slanging Dogma shirts at an AMC near you. But they crashed with me for the weekend, and I've almost got James into baseball. We were watching the Dodgers game, and he was like, this is far more interesting when you can actually see what's happening on the field. And I was like, it's a fun game. Yeah. And then, we went to lunch, and they had baseball and basketball and other games on. And Justin was like, you do kind of get lost in the screens, even if you're not interested in what's on there to begin with. Like, eventually you just start paying attention. I was like, here we go. Almost got him. But
right.
Yeah. They're in San Diego now.
Yeah. I always had an idea for a podcast, and we kind of scratched the surface with this idea a couple years ago before you joined us. But my initial idea was having, say, like 10 episodes. It'd be a short thing, like 10 episodes or 20 episodes. And I got that amount of time to convert a non-hockey fan into a hockey fan. Or the other one was a non-horror fan into a horror fan. And we kind of dabbled with that idea earlier on in the podcast. I had two of my buddies, Jeremy and Jared, on, who, not that they dislike horror, it's just not, they don't care about it like we do, where it's all we talk about and it's all we care about.
Yeah.
For them, it's like, like if it's a blockbuster horror, sure, I'll go see it. But like, they're not watching Frankenhooker on a random Tuesday,
Losers.
Yeah. But we had
them
them on.
Do you only have friends whose name starts with J?
You caught that. Yeah, it's a good question. A lot of them. There's a lot of J's out there, dude.
Yeah, our whole generation really leaned in on that.
But yeah, we had them on, and we still haven't released those episodes because we wanted to complete it as a series.
Oh.
And Jeremy ended up having a kid, which fucked everything up because we were like trying to do that third episode with them, and he's like, oh, like, my wife's due date is like next week. Like, okay, so let's schedule for like, I don't know, like in a few months maybe. It's been like 2 years now, so we never followed up on it. Anyways,
oh man,
that would be a fun little side project. Justin and James getting them into hockey.
I feel like that could be a fun. It could be a nice cyclical thing too, like conversion. I don't know what the actual name of the like side podcast would be, but like a conversion system type 8 to 10 episodes to get somebody into, because I've got like niche interests that nobody gives a shit about. Like I fucking love airports, and I love hanging out at airports. and every time I tell somebody that, they're like, airports? I hate going to the airport. And I was like, man, and I'm like, man, I love airports. If I have a long layover, I get so excited that I'm going to get to explore the airport before we leave. And so give me 8 episodes to try to explain to you why it's fun going to an airport, and then maybe you'd be like, okay.
I think if it's the right person explaining said interest with enough enthusiasm and who's truly passionate about it, I think you can convert anybody.
Yeah, I agree.
Like 99%. Like you're just going to have those select few that are going to be like, not for me, whatever the topic might be. And sure, like you just kind of take your losses. But
yeah,
like I feel I'm so passionate about hockey. Like I love hockey so much. I feel like if I talk to Justin and James about hockey for 10 hours, I think I could get one of them.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You
just gotta relate it to their interests. So you could do the convenient that we're talking about Slapshot, all the violence that's in the game.
Right. Yeah. Which is such an arrogant thought of me to think like my interests are so fucking cool, dude, that like you just don't get them. Like you just need to talk to me and then you'll get them.
Just let me tell you why it's cool and then you'll understand why it's cool.
Right.
Yeah. You just need an expert to put it into terms you can understand.
Right. I don't know. There's something special about you having that niche interest. And you're right. Like you're going to have a lot of people who don't fucking get it. And then when someone gets it, you're like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Like I'm not. Yeah. So I always feel like, please like what I like. Like I want you to like what I like, dude. That's why I'm like anxiously waiting to see what you're logging on the Letterboxd before we hop onto an episode. Like, I hope he didn't hate this fucking movie.
No, these two were wild. I do have to reassess Slapshot because I was like, as we're watching it, I'm like, man, a lot of things about this movie haven't aged well. But I also feel like this is one of those product of its time where you can kind of excuse it with the way the characters were meant to be, like portraying stuff. Yeah, but it was.
I mean, it is extremely homophobic and misogynistic. Absolutely. So those things don't age well. Which is shocking that that was written by a woman. And I don't know if you know the story behind that, who she is, Nancy Dowd.
I looked up a little bit of it. She based it on her. You can finish it for me because I'm trying to remember who it was. Her brother, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Her brother is Ned Dowd. He's the guy who played Ogie Oglethorpe.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So we're gonna let's start off with Slapshot. Sorry. So it's 1977, written by Nancy Dowd, who her brother actually played in the minors throughout the 70s. And she based this whole story on that. And I'm pretty sure I've seen over the years, just so many people credit this as being the most realistic sports movie, not just hockey movie, but sports movie. Like it just captures accurately what it was like playing in the minors back then. Nice. From the banter in the locker room to the violence to the struggles of like not being able to sell tickets as being, this failing hockey team and having shitty management and all that. Like all of this was just kind of pulled from her brother, and also several of the other actors too, because a lot of them, I don't know all of them, but like the Hanson brothers, like they were all minor league players as well. They weren't actors. And there were a lot of questions with them on set. Like, so like, what did you guys do on like the weekends? It's like, we'd hang out at the bar and like watch a soap opera, or like, this is what it was like in the locker room. Like just crazy.
Play with RC cars in our bedroom.
They brought their fucking toys with them. But I read something earlier today that I had never heard before. Apparently Nancy Dowd gave her brother like cassette tape recorders and like would just record conversations like on the bus and like in locker rooms and shit. And that's how she would just like study how these fucking dirtbags would talk. Huh. She's like, yeah.
So this is pretty accurate.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. It's a grimy movie. Like it's really like, it's very blue collar fucking, and it's probably what minor hockey was like in the 70s, where you were probably getting paid like, $20,000 or maybe at that time less a year. Like not a lot of those guys probably had second jobs,
it's crazy because I didn't know what this movie was about without because every time I read a synopsis, it focused on the Hanson brothers. So I
Right.
thought they were like the main characters because it
Right.
was like, oh, a struggling hockey team brings in the Hanson brothers to shake things up. And so as I'm watching the movie, I was like, no, this is Paul Newman. This movie's about Paul Newman's character. Like he's the lead. What the Hanson brothers are like a subplot, but that's all that's to it. And I didn't realize it was the same director, George Roy Hill of The Sting, and a couple of like Funny Farm and a couple other movies. So I was like, okay, I can definitely feel that in there. But it was like it was a weird amalgamation of his directing style and that very grimy writing, Paul Newman, all that. It was very unexpected. I'm glad I finally watched it. I was expecting, I think, something more, not PG-13, obviously, because it was rated R, but I was expecting something more like slapstick, and maybe that was just because of the name. But yeah, it was it was great.
But I think what has survived the last 50 years is the Hanson brothers more so than anything else, because that's such like a standout part of the movie, and it's such like a caricature of the movie that's almost cartoonish. There's how like ridiculous they are. In
I've
many
seen
ways.
that photo of him. Yeah, I've seen that photo of him with the blood coming out of his ears and one lens in his glasses cracked, listening to the national anthem so many times that it's nice to finally see this
Try to listen to the fucking song.
Just the song.
Cool little side story. So Steve Carlson is the actor that yells that. He's number 17 of the Hanson brothers. And I think the other two are actual brothers. And he's like I don't know if he was like a cousin or a friend or something like that, but he plays one of the brothers. And just thinking of that image of the blood coming out of the ears and screaming that, he a few years ago had cancer, the same kind of cancer that my dad had. And I saw him post a picture that said, I'm trying to ring the fucking bell, which you ring after you're done with your treatments, which I thought was a cool little meme that he posted. And I had reached out to him initially through Cameo, but he wasn't doing cameos at the time. So I still tracked down an email. And I was like, hey, like, I know you're not doing cameos, right? It said like his account was down or something. I was like, hey, I know you're not doing videos right now, but I would love a cameo style type video, just something to like boost my dad's spirits before he goes into treatment. He has the exact same cancer that you had. And I think it would mean a lot because he knows that you had that. And he was like sending me stories about it. And he couldn't have been more fucking gracious with his time and so cool. Like he sent us a couple videos. And then was like, hey, like, you want to do a FaceTime? Like, we could FaceTime and I'll talk with your dad. I was like, yeah, dude, like, that is so cool of you, man. So we FaceTimed with him for, I don't know, it was over an hour, like maybe like an hour and 10 minutes or something like that. Just chatting. And he's like talking to my dad, just like, hang in there, dude. I know it sucks, but you're going to get through it, blah, blah, blah. You know, the whole thing. It was really cool of him.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And even like his wife was texting me months later, just like checking in, like, hey, how's your dad doing? It's like, Jesus, like these people are so cool. It's amazing. So yeah, I thought should mention that. I should give him his flowers for that. That was very, very nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They standout performances for sure. I can see why they're the people that everyone remembers from the movie. Like, you're wearing the jersey. I assume that's a Hanson jersey.
Yep. Yeah. It's actually his. I didn't even. This was bought before all of that happened. Like I bought this jersey maybe a decade ago when it happened to be his. So
that's funny. I think we got the same one for Kimmy's dad for Christmas years ago when they started dropping those movie jerseys because he's also a diehard Slapshot fan, big hockey fan. So yeah, amazing.
And I mean, I feel like over the years. Like I remember being a kid going to Florida Panthers games, and I don't know if this happened more than once. It certainly happened once. Was an intermission show, and they were there. And they were on the ice, like skating around, doing some like halftime intermission show, like beating up referees or mascots and shit for like 5-10 minutes. So I know that was a regular thing they were doing throughout the 90s, just like maybe even early 2000s, just going around like touring and doing shit like that.
Nice.
And there is a Slapshot 2 and 3, which the Hanson brothers are in. I don't know if anyone else is.
We got to watch the whole trilogy then.
Yeah, I've never seen them. I heard they're pretty bad. I think it's Stephen Baldwin in the second one.
Oh no.
Yeah. And who knows what's in the third, but
that's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, another quick
Slapshot
note
2.
on Ned Dowd. Ned Dowd, who plays Ogie Oglethorpe, who's the brother of the writer. He has a few credits in Hollywood, and they're very strange. That like are just so like one of the main ones that really stood out is he's listed as an executive producer on Apocalypto, Mel Gibson's movie. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what a random thing to. And it's just two people that were executive producers of that movie. He's one of them. This is bizarre.
Right. Yeah. I still haven't seen that one actually, but I've heard it's amazing.
Oh, yeah, Apocalypto is a crazy one. Yeah.
That's what a wild.
Yeah, it's weird.
A storied career.
Right. But yeah, I mean, this, I hadn't seen this movie in probably a decade now, maybe a little longer, but I watched it so much, definitely at an age I shouldn't have. I was watching it pretty young.
Yeah.
And I just, being Canadian, I'd always go to Quebec to visit family, and I watched it in French, I think, first, which is an interesting translation. That the dubbing, it's definitely a little different, but yeah, obviously it's Canada, right? So hockey's just a religion there, and it's such a big movie there. So it's just such a huge part of my childhood. But rewatching it now, I probably had watched it through a similar lens that you did, even though I've seen it so many times. I was like, man, yeah, it's a little rough. Like, you can't make this today. That's for sure.
It was surprising because it's like, but I still think this one gets a pass on certain elements of it. Cause like, it is funny how many people I know love this movie because they saw it as a kid.
Right.
And as I'm watching it, I think that's another reason why I was surprised like 30 minutes in, where I'm like, how many people showed this to a kid?
Yeah.
Like 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
Obviously the homophobic slurs being dropped as often as they did, I think is a little more forgiving for this movie because it doesn't feel as like, I guess, pointed or whatever as it would in like Waiting, which came out in 2005, and you're like, oh, that movie's barely 20 years old, and it was saying just as much like vile shit.
Does it? I don't remember that.
That's the whole game in the kitchen. You gotta show them your dick, and if you win, then you call them that word. And so they're saying it all the time. And and then in this
I remember
one,
the game,
but
I don't remember that being and that's what's like. Again, it speaks to our culture back then, especially me watching it so much as a kid and then watching it now and now viewing it through that lens of like, geez.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that like no one viewed it through those lenses back then. Like it was just, it was normal, which is an unfortunate, normality. But, it was just part of regular vernacular, especially in those fucking circles. I mean, those guys were fucking,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I have my funny story about this is I didn't realize, and this is what made me want to watch Slapshot again, is we went to Pennsylvania to see a concert that was at this little arena in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And we're at the concert and it's between bands and we go to get like a couple of beers. And as we're walking around the arena, like exploring, they have the big sign or big photo of the cast and like shots of the filming. And they're like, this is the arena that this sequence in Slapshot was filmed in. And I was like, oh, they filmed Slapshot here. And Kimmy was very excited. She's like, holy shit, my dad's going to be so excited. We tell him we were here.
That's
and
crazy.
The band was excited and they were posting on their socials that they got to play at the same arena as Slapshot. And then I looked it up online as I was like getting notes for the movie, and I didn't realize that the whole movie was inspired by that town, which is like a working small town in Pennsylvania, and they just changed the name, but it was Johnstown, Pennsylvania. And I was like, oh shit, I've been there. Yeah. All right. And it makes sense because we explored that town and there's not a whole lot going on, but you can definitely tell it's like a blue collar, like steel worker type town. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and what it captures in the movie is just how much a sports team matters to a town like that. 'Cause that's all you got, so it becomes such a big part of your life. And you like really identify with that team. Like they lose, like your fucking week sucks, and they win, and everything's fucking awesome. Like just yeah. And then just the whole, not necessarily subplot, because I guess it's still a big part of the plot, but the steel mill shutting down, and then the concerns of like that obviously doesn't help their case for not folding as an organization. Just how much of that was probably a reality in the minors. Like I would imagine even, I mean, today's got to be so different, but like even now with like your smaller leagues, your like ECHL and smaller leagues like that, where it's got to be hard to fucking sell tickets, especially if you suck. And
definitely,
so like, and that's where a lot of those antics, I think that's where that comes from in hockey. You got to fucking goon it up. You get like you fight and shit. Like people are gonna tune in. They're gonna care more. And I think even at the end when what's his name, when he strips, he's skating around taking his equipment off and his clothes off.
Oh yeah, it's Braden, right?
Yeah, Braden. Yeah. I was reading I think this happened in the 70s, and I'm pretty sure it was 3 California teams. It was you had the Oakland Seals, which like moved and became something else. I forget what they became. I think the Kings were a team then. I think I don't know what their inaugural year was. I think it was 70s or maybe late 60s. I'm not sure.
I should know, but I think it was 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, there was a couple stories of ownership of these teams. They would stage stuff to like make it, crazier and try to make headlines. And there was a few streakers that would happen during games, and it would make these big headlines, even, beyond the hockey world. And you start to like get maybe, casual fans like, this is crazy. Like, they're fighting and shit, and there's people running naked out on the ice. So like, but there was a few, like I think three different teams that had done that, and heavy speculation that it was staged, that it was the team's management that like, we have to do this. Like it's let's spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, gotta get the attention.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think slightly derived from that, possibly, of him just like, he's not a fighter. And he's like, I'll just start taking my shit off.
Yeah. I did like they had the one guy who just refused to fight, and even when McCracken like went after him, he was like, "Nah, I'm just gonna stare you down." Because I was like, part of me wanted to see him kick his ass, but then I'm like, no, just don't give him the satisfaction.
Stick to your guns. And yeah. I'm not gonna goon it up for you, Reggie.
Yeah.
Then
I'll bench you. I also love anything with Emmett Walsh in it. Obviously, he's an icon. I don't know why I'm always surprised to see him in a movie, because I forget that he's in every movie. But it is always nice when he just pops
171 movies I think I saw on Letterboxd.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
It was crazy. I was like looking at my laptop for something when the first scene with him came on, and as soon as I heard his voice, like he says one word, and I was like, it's him.
Yeah,
like, he's just
every
Dickie
time. Dunn.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did have. I was trying to remember one of my other notes. The way Reggie's wearing his watch over his long sleeve, like in that first interview, and I don't. Was that ever in style? I do not understand it.
That's
they're
funny.
sitting there interviewing, and he's got like a turtleneck sweater on, but the sleeve goes up to here, and then the watch is down here, wrapped around the sleeve on the outside. And I'm like,
that's funny.
It just stuck out.
Yeah.
But
I never noted that, but it's weird that I haven't noted that, because shit like that bothers me, and I note it very easily.
Yeah,
it's funny that I never caught that.
Yeah, that was strange. And then I also just noticed how many scenes in this movie don't have like closure.
Okay,
where they're just like the shit going down where everything's it's a disaster on the ice, and then Braden runs up to the booth and just starts talking shit to the commentator, and then the other guy's in there, and they throw him out, and he rolls down the stairs, and then it just cuts to Paul Newman in the car, and it's the next scene. And I'm like, what came of that? Like, I guess I'm fine with it not like getting too in the weeds about it, but I feel like nowadays, if a movie had that, they'd be like, there's so many holes. They didn't talk about what wasn't this guy punished? Didn't something happen here? What was going on here? And I'm like, oh, we don't need that. Just
like every piece of the story needs to have a purpose, and it needs to be interwoven into like all these different dots to be connected. And yeah, that would be picked apart today too, for sure. It's funny, again, something I didn't note, and maybe it's like, you know, watching any movie so many times as a kid where you just fucking, like, now as an adult, I'm just kind of viewing it like that. Like, oh yeah, like I love this movie. I'm not critiquing it, or not necessarily. It's not like you're critiquing it necessarily. You're just noting like, yeah, this is weird.
Yeah.
There's significant things are occurring, and there's no consequences, or no, you never go back to that. Yeah. Yeah, that's, now that you say that, it's fucking riddled with that.
Yeah. I just jotted down because I'm like, I'm about to talk about this on a podcast. I need
something
notes
that we
to talk about.
Up. Yeah.
I need content.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I was just watching the movie, it would have been just a real fun movie.
Right. Yeah. And for better or worse, this movie's just, since my childhood, to this day, I still quote a lot of it. And a lot of it's mainly from the goalie, Denis Lemieux. And a lot of it comes from the opening scene when he's doing the radio interview, which is my favorite scene of the whole movie. It's the first 2 minutes of the movie is my favorite scene. And it's just him being a goalie. Like, I've played hockey most of my life, and goalies are always notoriously known for being weirdos. They're very, like your job or your position within this sport is you're by yourself, right? Like, everyone else is on the bench, they're playing together, they're communicating, developing plays together, all that. You're by yourself, and you're getting shot at all fucking game. These frozen rubber pucks at like 100 miles an hour. Like, you just got to be a special kind of person to be a goalie. Yeah. And I feel like they captured him so like perfectly to be a goalie because he's such a weirdo. Yeah. But and him having that French Canadian accent is perfect. But just like, he asks him like, oh, like, what's icing? It's like, oh, icing at Ben when the puck bang hit the boards before the other guys, my arm go comme ça. Then the game stop and start up.
I was so excited when they asked him about that, because I thought he was going to finally explain icing in a way that I could understand. Because I know what icing is, but it's still like, it took me a while where I'm like, oh, it's just when they hit the puck, it goes across two lines. What's that? And I was like, oh, he'll explain it. And then no, he won't. I got slashing though. He made that pretty clear on what slashing is. Yeah.
He's like, you don't do that. No, never. Against the rules.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah. And I feel anytime I play hockey, someone gets a penalty. You go to the box, 2 minutes, you feel shame. Which is a very I feel like that's in every hockey game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's permeated hockey culture for generations, this movie, and I'm sure it's going to continue to do so.
I do feel like it is the hockey movie, because I was trying to think of, like, as far as sports movies go, when you think of baseball or whatever, and you think of like, there's Major League in the comedy section, but then there's like Field of Dreams and drama. And for hockey, I know everyone loves Miracle, because that's the Kurt Russell like sports drama based on a true story. But whenever I hear hockey movie, I immediately think of Slapshot. And I just watched it for the first time today. But I knew Slapshot was the hockey movie. Like, I've seen both Goon movies, and they were super fun. And I've seen...
Goon's awesome.
Yeah. And I've seen The Mighty Ducks, and they're great, obviously. Classics. But yeah, anytime somebody would say hockey movie, I'm like, oh, Slapshot's probably, I would assume, the best, because that's the one everyone knows.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's got to be the first. I don't know if there was a hockey movie prior to Slapshot.
That's a good question. We should have looked that up. Yeah, I don't know. I forgot how. I didn't realize how old Slapshot was. I thought it was an 80s movie.
Yeah, 77.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I don't know. I'm sure we could jump back and forth here, but I had never seen Youngblood. This is the first time I've seen Youngblood, and I was shocked that I hadn't seen it because I've always known about it.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I feel like it, for whatever reason, it wasn't as accessible. Like I didn't. It's certainly not as popular, but yeah, it's weird that I hadn't seen it, especially when the cast is insane.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's insane that that's the cast. And it's
I went down not a rabbit hole, but there was a moment I think shortly after Swayze passed when I was like, I gotta watch Point Break because I haven't seen Point Break since I was a kid and I don't even remember it. But I gotta see if it's as good as everyone remembers it. And it is. Point Break is one of the best movies ever made. And then I was like, I gotta watch Roadhouse because I don't think I've actually ever seen Roadhouse. And I'm going to see what all the fuss is about. Right? No, God, no. I did also watch that one, but I did not feel the same afterwards. But I watched the original Roadhouse, and I was like, oh, this is also like one of the best movies ever made. And so I started looking at other Swayze titles. I was like, I got to knock out more of this guy's filmography because I've only seen Dirty Dancing and Ghost. Like, what am I missing here?
Which are great movies.
Yeah, but Youngblood didn't come up. I don't think I scrolled down far enough to see that one. So when he popped up in this movie, I was like, Jesus, how did I not know this movie even existed?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously a smaller production. I don't know what the budget was. I don't even know if it's worth Googling. Let's just guess like $10. You know, like it wasn't much. But yeah, what's crazy too is so Rob Lowe did The Outsiders in 83. This movie was shot in 84, but it was released in 86. So Rob Lowe hadn't really hit yet at being this fucking massive sex icon on every like teeny magazine and the tabloids and all that shit. So when this came out, he was all over the place when it was released, which is crazy. And also Keanu Reeves' first movie. This is his first movie. Where I'm pretty sure. 84. I don't know if
I guess that makes sense.
I don't know if it was the first movie that's been, like he might have done something that came out prior. I think it's the first movie he shot. Because what's cool about him is he was an actual hockey goalie, Keanu Reeves. Like he grew
before
up.
He
grew up. He's Canadian and he grew up playing goalie. He played hockey. But man, his French Canadian accent is so bad in this movie. It's like, that man, a fucking animal.
I was seeing the letterbox reviews that were like, God bless Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, and whatever the fuck Keanu Reeves is trying to sound like. You wonder if they even tried or if they were like, they got like a accent coach or something who's like, try it this way, and then he says it and they're like, you know what, sure.
Whatever, man.
It's cool. We don't have enough budget to go over this another 5 or 6 times.
Right.
Oh yeah. But him popping up was also a pleasant surprise.
And I read that Swayze knew how to ice skate prior to this movie, so he was good, but Rob Lowe did not. So he had to train and like get ready for it. And he didn't look bad on skates. Like he was moving around. Like there's shots of him pretty clearly ice skating and, you know, doing some shit. It wasn't all stunt work. But I saw a quote from him. He's like, any sport where you break a sweat just putting on the equipment is not for me, or like something like that. Like he's just like basically like, I don't like hockey. Like this is too much.
Oh, come on, man. Buck up.
Yeah. But that's another movie that's got several NHL players in it. One of which is, let me see here, Eric Nesterenko. Eric Nesterenko, I think is how you say it. Played for the Maple Leafs, played for Chicago Blackhawks. I was reading he got traded from the Leafs to the Blackhawks for cash. That was a thing that they did back then, just like trading players and just get money back instead of picks or prospects or other players. He won a cup Stanley Cup with the Blackhawks in '67.
Oh shit!
Hired to be a hockey consultant, but then he also played Youngblood's dad. He's the dad. That,
okay.
Yeah. Now all that cool shit about him out of the way, it turns out he's a pretty big dick. So here's a nice little blurb to read about him that's fucked up. I don't know if you know Willie O'Ree. Willie O'Ree was the first NHL black player. There was a really awesome documentary about him that came out 5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. Really, it's worth checking out. It's really cool. But yeah, so during a game in '61, Nesterenko, however you say his name, infamously attacked Willie O'Ree, the first black player in the NHL, with racial slurs and butt-ended O'Ree with his hockey stick, breaking O'Ree's nose and knocking out his front teeth. O'Ree retaliated with his stick, and Nesterenko required 15 stitches in his head. During the next game, when they played, Nesterenko slashed O'Ree's ankles, and Nesterenko never apologized to O'Ree, despite having the opportunity 30 years later when they met in an all-star game. O'Ree later named Nesterenko and described the incidents in his autobiography. So he was a piece of shit. Yeah. Yeah, and there was a couple other NHL players in the movie. I'm not sure.
It is crazy that he's the one that's not an actor and an NHL player, and they hire him to do hockey stuff. I'm like, while you're here, let's have you play a dad. Like you have no acting experience. You're not going to do much hockey stuff on camera, but we don't have anyone else for this role, so you might as well.
Yeah.
What a dick, though. I am going to watch that Willie O'Ree documentary.
It's great. It's
definitely more up my alley.
Yeah, it was really cool. But this is also, I thought there was an interesting story with the director, Peter Markle, because he grew up playing hockey. I don't know if you read into this guy. He played high school hockey in Minnesota, which compared to all other states, like that's a pretty big deal. I know high school hockey in Minnesota is huge. Like they sell out fucking stadiums and shit there. It's nuts for high school teams. Oh yeah. Like it's a big deal there. So he grew up playing high school hockey there, played NCAA for Yale, and then he played internationally for Team USA, and then wrote this movie, all kind of, based off of his experiences from that, which I thought was, there's probably still a lot of, realistic. It feels like this could be a real story of just someone. I mean, it's very hero's journey. Like, I mean, it's very, you see it in a lot of movies, but it just felt like, like I could see him having gone through that. Like I'm an American that goes to Canada, not accepted by his teammates, and then starts to win them over. And
I would love to know to what degree certain scenes are based on true stories. The tea time in particular was immediately, I'm just like, he's 17. They made it pretty clear that this character is 17 years old.
Right.
What is she doing? And then I think I can't remember what the exact review was, but somebody on Letterboxd pointed out where they're like, did not expect Patrick Swayze shaving Rob Lowe's balls while wearing a jock strap over his face like a ski mask.
Yeah.
But this is high art or like absolute cinema. And I'm like, that scene was definitely also unexpected.
Yeah. Two things that in that movie that probably didn't age well either. Yeah. But it's a little less egregious, I guess. I mean, the hazing, it's one thing, but again, product of its time. And
for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, to your point, Rob Lowe playing a 17-year-old, which makes sense because they're playing junior hockey. In junior hockey, the age range is 16 to 20. Yet Patrick Swayze's fucking 34. Or 30. He was 32 when this was filmed.
Oh, really?
So, 34.
That's amazing.
Came out. So yeah, you're supposed to be like a 19-year-old. Clearly not. But it
is fun watching those older movies and trying to. I think it didn't hit as hard when you watched it as a kid because you're just like, but that's like watching movies about high schoolers now.
Right.
And you're like, what the fuck? These aren't kids in high school. Like any of those, like watching Scream or something, and you're like, oh, these are all supposed to be like 16-year-olds. What are we doing? Yeah.
Which is maybe why high schoolers seemed so old to us when we were like in 8th grade. It's like,
exactly.
The movies we watched, they're fucking 30.
Yeah.
Like I thought I was supposed to have like a thick beard when I was 14.
Yeah. Like high school's like Beverly Hills 90210, right? Like, no, those people are all 36, 37 years old. That's not how it is at all.
The best is Grease. There's a few of those guys in Grease that are like for sure late 30s.
Oh yeah,
supposed to be there. Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah,
but I am glad I watched Youngblood because this is one that probably would have stayed under my radar if you hadn't discovered it and suggested it for this episode, or if I had eventually gotten all the way down to the Patrick Swayze's earlier work.
Right? Did you watch in the link that I sent?
I did, yeah.
Whatever website that was, I don't know what that was, but
it's
you can find it anywhere.
It looks like I couldn't figure out the translation, but I think it's like a Russian YouTube or something.
Really?
Yeah, it was really weird. But yeah, you sent the link, and I was like, "Oh, this is the full movie," and I guess this is the only way to watch it now. Which is I don't like having to pirate or like find workarounds for movies, but this is why physical media is so important, because if there's literally no way to find this movie anywhere else other than this random link that you sent me, and I was like, let's risk it. Like at least I didn't download any malware or anything like that. But yeah.
Well, I mean, even to that point, Slapshot was streaming on Prime for the last few months and now not, right? Like you had to rent it to watch it. So another reason of why physical media is superior.
I also want... If there's a commentary track for Slapshot, I really want that.
There's gotta be.
Yeah, I bet that would be a lot of fun. I read somewhere that it's Paul Newman's favorite movie that he's done.
I saw that, yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, you've made a lot of like iconic, like Cool Hand Luke, The Sting, and you're like, no, this one. Like way more boobs than I anticipated too. I think that was another shock that I'm like, so many people saw this movie when they were kids. I'm like, this movie's got a lot of nudity in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I certainly didn't sit next to my parents and watch it, but like, I'm pretty sure they knew I was watching it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I was doing it in secrecy, but
it's probably one of those where the parents were like, oh, it's a hockey movie. It's probably like a fine hockey movie.
Yeah.
He can watch it. And they didn't bother to check the rating, or they're like, oh, it's rated R probably because they say fuck a few times or whatever. It's no big deal.
Right. Well, I mean, I think my dad was a big
hockey.
fan of the movie, so he had to know what I was watching.
Oh, okay.
But he was maybe more like I'm kind of this way where with my kid where like I want him to like hockey, you know. So if it's his bedtime, but he's like, no, I want to watch the game with you, Daddy. You're like, all right, like let's not go to bed then. Like I'll let you break some rules to like the stuff that I like.
There you go. So have you shown your 4-year-old Slapshot yet?
Yeah, we watched it together right before this podcast. No, that one's gonna have to wait a while for sure.
Nice, yeah, 6 or 7 maybe.
Yeah, which is probably when I saw it. But yeah, and I mean even. Youngblood is probably off limits. There's a little bit of boobs there. It's not as bad, but
a little bit.
Yeah, certainly more PG-13 though than R. I feel like.
Yeah, I think Youngblood is barely R. It is also refreshing to see movies like this where, because there was a whole era where they were aiming to go rated R. Like they would add in a couple things just to say that they were rated R, or they just didn't give a shit. So it was like, and this was through a couple of decades, because I always call back to like Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion is a movie that looks like it should be PG-13 and feels like it should be PG-13. And then you watch it and it's rated R, but it's only rated R because one character says, go fuck yourself or fuck off like multiple times. And I'm like, they could have easily just removed these few F-bombs and made it a PG-13 movie, but they didn't bother because this was a funny through line that they needed to keep. And nowadays, the studio would be like, we need to cut this to make it PG-13 so we can open up the audience. We got to make more people see this. So it is nice seeing Youngblood where they're like, we probably could have made this PG-13, but no, we're gonna leave some of this silly shit in there.
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple scenes that made me laugh that just looked so wrong. Is during warm-ups before the game, both teams are skating together around the whole sheet of ice. Which, you know, warm-ups before an NHL game, the teams on one side, the teams on the other
one
side.
team's on one end, yeah.
They're all skating together, just skating. Like, they're not, like, shooting the goalie warming up in net, getting shot on. Like, they're just skating laps around the ice together. And there's two scenes of that where I was like the director played hockey. Like, his whole life, I would assume so. And then you got this fucking dirtbag that's a consultant on set. And, like, you guys just decided to have him warm up like that. So I don't know. Maybe that was a part of, like, Minnesota hockey back in the day or something. I don't know. But I'd never seen that before.
Or it was just the second unit was not familiar with hockey. And they're like, I have to film the warm-up scene. I don't know. Do we have anyone to talk to? I guess just skate around. What are these guys capable of doing? They're all actors who didn't play.
Right.
So we don't want to make them take any crazy shots or anything like that. Just have them do laps.
Yeah.
There were some long scenes in this movie. I'm trying to remember. All I have noted down is like multiple lengthy scenes that feel like they could have been trimmed a little bit. And I'm trying to remember. I think the one I was thinking most of was them around the table drinking and just like talking shit, and then they just keep getting Rob Lowe drunk.
Yeah.
And it was like it had some funny moments and some great jokes and stuff. But I was like, this scene is still going. Like, that one went on for a while.
Yeah, it did.
And I guess it was like, this is just how we're going to let you get to know these characters. Like, this is how you're going to meet everybody. And I'm like, okay, well, they just keep cutting to Keanu and his weird accent. I guess it'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess they just had to nail the point home of just like, he just had 13 shots of tequila and no one else had any. Let's film all 13 of them.
It's crazy.
It reminds me of, I have a cousin that's around the same age as us. And I remember when we were this is like early high school, and he had joined some like he made some team, a hockey team. It was a travel team of some sort. And it was a big deal in the town to be on that team. And he definitely got hazed like as he like joined, and they had, I think it was like they had a bunch of liquor and booze and shit, and basically all the newcomers on the team were there. They locked the doors, like, you're not leaving until all this is empty. So they just like booze their asses off and get like super fucking drunk. And then he came home with funny enough, I was visiting at the time, so I was there, and he came home the next day. And I went over to his house, and his mom was crying. She's like, can you cut the rest of his hair? And like, I go there, and he just has this like horseshoe shaved into his head. So he just had the sides. And like, he had like marks on his head that were like cut because they were like all drunk, like cutting, like shaving his head.
Oh my God.
So I'm there, like, you know, I'm like, I don't know, 15 or whatever. I'm just laughing, just fucking shaving the rest of his head.
Jesus.
Like, yeah. But yeah, it's kind of, that scene made me think of it because they're just like making him fucking drink a shitload and being dicks to him. But yeah, and they end up loving the guy, you know?
Yeah. So he stuck it out. You gotta you get through all that, and then you've got a family for life.
Right.
Yeah. I do feel like that was also, what was he saying? It reminds you of what?
Please.
Well, no, I was gonna say it was also kind of a predictable story point where it's like Patrick Swayze's character is gonna make an impact as the leader of the veterans, and then take him under his wing, and then they're going to become close friends, and then something's going to happen to him, and you're going to have to get revenge. So I'm glad he didn't die on the ice, but he definitely that was rough to watch.
We did see that like from a mile away coming.
Yeah,
it was obvious for sure. It was very Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
But that whole like hazing thing, or not even necessarily hazing, but just like treating the new guys like shit, just made me think of Shoresy, where him and Sanguinet, they're like was it Sanguinet? I think it was, where he's like asking him to not be a dick to him.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that? And he's like, yeah. I don't remember the full quote, but it's a good quote. It's like, but I'll go through a fucking wall for you. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's so many good quotes. We just finished Shorzy this morning. We forgot we had one episode left, so we're all
The
caught
fourth
up
season?
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
What'd you think? Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, we
Yeah.
love it. I feel like when we watched Letterkenny, the first episode or two, I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting this sense of humor, but
Right.
I've heard it's great. Let's stick it out. And then it was literally like 3 or 4 episodes in, we were hooked and we were quoting everything.
Yeah.
And then when Letterkenny ended, I was like, man, I'm really going to miss these people. But there's this spinoff called Shorzy where he's back and he plays the character that we've seen in Letterkenny without their face or whatever, but now it's him.
Right.
So let's try this out. And I was like, and it's about hockey. So Kimmy was all on board. And yeah, we're addicted. We love it.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. I set the
It's funny
fucking
when
tone.
Yeah. I love Shorzy's awesome. And Letterkenny was just, it's such a silly show. Like, it's so silly. It's the only word I could think of to describe it.
Yeah.
But I watched the first few episodes and my wife saw a little bit of it here and there, like just being, behind me or something in the kitchen and like catching something. She's like, this is dumb. Like, this is not for me. And would leave. And then like, as I got to the 4th season, which you could do in like 2 nights because they're such short seasons.
Yeah. They're short episodes.
Yeah. I mean, each season's 2 hours, right? They're 20-minute, 6 episodes, 20 minutes. But I was in the 4th season and then Katie like watched a little more of it and she's like, this is good. Like, I get it now. And I was like, all right. And then like went all the way back and started from season 1, episode 1, and then rewatched it with her. And then she got hooked on it. But for whatever reason, Shorzy didn't grab her. She was like, yeah, I like Letterkenny better. I was like, all right.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Shorzy. Kimmy was excited about Shorzy because it was all the humor and stuff that she loved about Letterkenny, but with way more hockey. And obviously she's a big hockey fan, so she loves all that stuff.
Yeah.
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 Blueberry Buddies.
Yeah. Anything hockey, I'll watch. I mean, I've watched there's a show that came out in, I want to say 2015. Was it called Benders?
Oh,
I think it's called Benders. And you have an interesting cast. It's bad. It was on Netflix at the time. And now, like, I don't think you can find it anywhere unless you like buy it on iTunes or something, or Apple.
It's on Pluto TV, apparently.
No, is it really? All right.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: it is not good. Like, it's really not good. But I just love hockey and hockey shit that I still enjoyed it. But look who's in it: Chris DiStefano and Andrew Schultz are in it, which is really fucking weird.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who, like,
Steve Sharippa?
I didn't know who those guys were when I was watching it at the time. And then, like, over the years, I'm like, it's weird that those guys were in that.
That's crazy. Godfrey?
Yeah. But think of like
wow.
Shorzy, but they're like shitty hockey players. Like, they're just playing beer league and like they suck.
Like, the tagline is no regretskis.
Yeah. That's a very popular beer league name. You see that in a lot of beer leagues. People call themselves No Regretskis as a team name.
Oh, okay.
Or another popular one is the Hat Trick Swayzes.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, beer league names are fun. You got to be creative and come up with some good ones like that. But those are popular ones.
Yeah.
Or like the Anaheim Drunks, and like the jerseys will always be like a drunk duck or something like that.
That's also a very popular drinking shirt for people who go to Disneyland.
Oh, is it really?
Because we do. I think I've seen that. Because if you go to Florida and you go to Epcot, drinking around the world is the big thing to do, is go to every World Showcase country and get a different drink. And people will go there as groups and get matching shirts. And I got a buddy he's very proud of some of the shirts he's done, like Beer Our Guest, and it's got a Beauty and the Beast theme to it. He did the Avengers and one of them was the Mighty Drunks, and it had like the Mighty Ducks logo, but with crossed beer bottles behind it instead of hockey sticks. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of other hockey related movies or shows. Benders is one I think again, if you love hockey, worth checking out, even though it sucks.
Well, it's only one season, so it should be easy to chew through.
Yeah. But there's definitely some funny parts in it for sure. Just wasn't a great show. But yeah, and me being this fucking list dork, like I want to put together a letterbox list of hockey movies because there's definitely more out there that I think we did do Sudden Death, which I think should be considered a hockey movie. It should be.
Absolutely. Jean-Claude Van Damme plays goalie better than the actual Penguins goalie.
During the midst of a terrorist attack.
During Stanley Cup Game 7, right?
Right.
And we got the Goon movies, of course.
Which are,
I don't know
so
if
the
I'll
second
finish the
one,
Slapshot trilogy.
Yeah. I will eventually. I think I will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that they're not next to my list, that's for sure. But there's the Goon movies are great. I mean the second one's okay. I don't know how you feel about it, but the first one's awesome.
Yeah, I thought the first one was amazing. The second one was fine.
Yeah. Which I wish they would continue to do those or turn that into a series.
We could use another one.
Or bring that they could keep that one going, especially now with like the popularity of Shoresy. I think hockey content is getting a lot of eyeballs right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because Shoresy, even Letterkenny, which was just this tiny little Canadian, not just show, but it was a Twitter account that got picked up by Crave TV, like some small.
Is that how it started?
Yeah, it was a Twitter account called Letterkenny Problems, and then they would just like those cold opens they do.
Yeah,
it was like there was stuff like that they would do, and like these like little video skits on Twitter, and then it eventually got picked up because Jared Kiso, the creator and the guy that plays Wayne and Letterkenny and Shoresy, he was an actor. He lived in LA. He acted in a few things, and he just wasn't for it. Like he didn't like it. He's like, I fucking hate this. Moved back to what's the town that Letterkenny's based off of? Drawing a blank, but he's from like a small town like that. So then he just started making videos on Twitter, and that blew up, especially in that local area in Ontario. And then it turns into a show. Crave TV gives him a pilot and like a first season, and then it just took off from there. And then blew up in America too. Like Hulu, picked it up, and then now, sure enough, the Shoresy spinoff series. But yeah, I wish Kiso would do more. Like, there's not a lot of him out there. You can't find a lot of like interviews and shit or podcasts. Like, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Because
I was trying to look that up when we were watching Letterkenny and Shoresy. I was trying to find more stuff with him to like see what kind of person he is outside of these characters, because I'm sure he's a little different.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's there's a few really good interviews that he did years ago when it was just like halfway through Letterkenny maybe, and it was some like small like Canadian radio show / podcast that he was on, and they're just talking about the slang in the show and how funny like a lot of the slang they use is. And they were just like, he was just talking about like where a lot of that came from. He's like, yeah, like when we were kids, like my buddy would use like, he wanted to call someone soft, he'd call him 10-ply. He's like, what the fuck's that? He's like, well, you got your 2-ply toilet paper, so like 10-ply would be super soft, so call someone 10-ply. So you just
nice.
Yeah, again, I wish you had more of that guy out there. But yeah, there's a lot of hockey movies out there that I still haven't really scratched the surface. Like I've researched a lot. There's some that came out in the last like 10 years that I've started to watch. Like there's one on Gordie Howe that was that's been on my list. That's supposed to be pretty good. what was the one that I just watched? I think I sent you a screenshot of it recently, or when I was watching it, however long ago that was. I don't remember. But
we've been watching like docuseries and stuff lately. Like they have the Landeskog one.
Is it,
what he's
that's
going
out
through
now, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That one's great.
Watch that.
Yeah. What else?
There's a lot of there's like for documentaries, there's like Ice Guardians is a good one. What's the one with Chris Nyland? I don't know if you know Chris Nyland.
Was it Goalie? Is that the one you watched?
Oh, Goalie.
2019?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie was fucking gnarly. Like that was super depressing.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was good though. It's a good movie.
I could follow that up with MVP Most Valuable Primate about a monkey that plays hockey.
Yeah.
The story of Jack, a fun-loving, scene-stealing primate with a penchant for ice hockey.
Yeah, the next episode we do without Justin and James will be. It should be that.
You guys tanked the fucking podcast talking about hockey chimps. What is this?
Yeah. So the Chris Nyland documentary is called. Fuck! I just had it. Where did it go? It is The Last Gladiators. Highly recommend that one. Came out in 2011. Chris Nyland was Boston, born and raised, got drafted by Montreal. It was huge fucking rivalry teams, Montreal and Boston.
Yeah.
And he played throughout the 80s and 90s for Montreal. And he was a goon. Like he was an enforcer, just a fucking badass of a dude that just would fuck people up. Nice. And the whole documentary is about like just post retirement and just like what his life was like, just drugs and fucking just craziness. But talks a lot about his career as well and just hockey. And it's a really, really interesting documentary. I always like me and my friends for the last like 15 years of that documentary being out. The documentary opens with Chris Nyland with his heavy Boston accent. And the first thing he says is, I have my mother's hands. And it's focused on his hands. He's just saying he has like smaller hands. He shouldn't be as big of a fighter. But to this day, I'll still like, I have my mother's hands.
That's awesome. I'm going to add that to my list. I've got Mr. Hockey, the Gordie Howe story.
Yeah. So I haven't seen that one yet. That's it. And it's weird that I haven't seen it because I have Gordie Howe's book, which was pretty cool. But anything about that guy is so cool to read about because he was such a fucking beast of a guy too. And just, he played like whatever, I don't know how many, he played like 4 decades of hockey.
Yeah. Jesus.
Played forever. He played with his 2 sons in the NHL. So
that's right. Yeah. He's the one.
Yeah. I think he career started in the 40s. Won a bunch of cups with the Red Wings. Gretzky has number 99 because Gordie Howe was number 9. And he was just this huge Gordie Howe fan. He was the one that had the big scoring record that Gretzky beat.
Oh, that's right.
Sure enough, that
Ovechkin just beat
like a week or 2 ago. I think that they called him. He had a few. I mean, Mr. Hockey was one of them, but they called him a couple other things too, like Mr. Elbow or something like that. He would just elbow people. He was notorious for elbowing the fuck out of people. But yeah, anything Gordie Howe to me is worth the watch. So I need to watch that.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool, man. This was a good one. This was fun.
I would say so. Yeah. I love talking hockey. This one, as I'm looking at the details for Mr. Hockey, the Gordie Howe story, that one is not a documentary. That is an actual retelling where Michael Shanks plays Gordie Howe and Dylan Playfair from Letterkenny plays Marty Howe. Yeah.
Yep. And he was also, I think it's him, right? That's the guy with the blonde hair.
Yeah.
He was in the Mighty Ducks series that came out a few years ago on Disney Plus.
Oh shit! Did you watch that? Right. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, he's the coach. Yeah.
That makes sense. That's why I recognize him.
his dad is, I don't know if he still is now. I know he was an assistant coach in the NHL. I forget for what team. I wonder if he's still coaching right now. But I just remember hearing that when that series came out and he was doing interviews and stuff. I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. His dad's an assistant coach. Which this reminds me another thing. I can't believe I didn't bring this up, which I think is cool. The organist in Slapshot, the dude that plays the organ.
Yeah.
So he was uncredited. And I have his name somewhere in my notes here. Where is it? Here we go. Rob Masters is his name. Today, he's the organist for the Seattle Kraken.
Oh shit!
Yeah, which is
that's
awesome.
Funny.
Yeah. And to 2022 was their inaugural year, and purposefully seeked that guy out. It was like, you're going to be our fucking organist, dude.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
Nice.
Yeah.
I looked up the Dylan's dad is James Playfair, former coach of the Calgary Flames.
Head coach?
Former head coach of the Flames,
really?
And then served as an assistant coach for the Coyotes and then the Oilers until just a couple of years ago.
He's not coaching right now?
No.
Okay.
His last coaching year was 2022.
I didn't know he was a head coach. That's crazy.
Yeah, apparently he got let go by the Oilers in February of 2022 when they fired their head coach too. But he was head coach of the Calgary Flames until 2007 when he was replaced by Mike Keenan, former Florida Panthers head coach.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
There's a very short documentary on YouTube that was put on by Vice like 10 years ago. It's about the LNAH, which is a French Canadian. It's a Quebec, very minor league, like semi-pro league, and it's a fucking gnarly documentary. It's maybe like 20 minutes long, but it's very like Slapshot-esque.
Nice.
And it's these small teams playing in these small rinks. Maybe sell like, I don't know, like 500 tickets or something. It's like a packed house. And the whole gimmick of this league is it's just a league of goons. And all these fucking like drunk French Canadians and like every like Friday night, Saturday night would go to these games to just see people fight. And a lot of the guys, well, I don't want to say a lot, but some of them are ex NHLers. And fuck, I forget his name, but the black dude in Shoresy, he played in the NHL, and he was in that league in the LNAH, and he's also in that Vice documentary, which predates Shoresy and Letterkenny.
That's wild.
It's interesting to see, but it's fucking crazy. Just it's a very well done short documentary. I'll find the link. I'll send it to you. But anyone listening, if you're still listening and interested, you could just YouTube like Vice hockey.
Oh, drop the gloves.
Like, yes, yeah. It's about the like league,
the world of the Ligue Nord Americaine de Hockey.
Yeah, yep.
That's amazing.
And I don't know if that league's still around. I wonder if it is. But it's funny
because
like
the Laval Predators.
Yeah, and so the small town that my family's from in Quebec is St. George, and they had a team in that league, and their team name was like Rock 103.5. That was the name of the team. It's just the local radio station that fucking like owned it or sponsored it or whatever the fuck. But yeah, it's that one's worth a watch for sure.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I just see it. It's on YouTube. It looks like it's only like 23 minutes long. So yeah.
Well worth the watch. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like I go through those like videos and documentaries like that in the summer when hockey's over and I'm bummed and like there's no more hockey. It's like, I'll just start watching.
You gotta fill in the gaps, yeah.
Yeah.
That is a bummer. Hockey always ends around my birthday. The Kings won the cup like the day after my birthday a few years ago.
Yeah.
So that's how I always associate it with that. And then
were you in
the rest of
LA
the summer.
when for any of those cups?
We were living in LA for the second one, but we didn't get to go to the parade. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Or did we? Yeah. Oh yeah. No, sorry. Kimmy's like, yeah, we did. We went to the parade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. Yeah. I remember. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's something I should absolutely remember. Yeah. We were here for the second cup, and we did. Yeah. We drove down and did the parade and everything. It was nuts because they won. They skipped a year. They went back and forth with the Blackhawks.
Yeah.
For like 4 years in a row. And we were here for the second one. And
Yeah.
Kimmy, that's funny, is I wasn't a big sports guy through high school. Like I was into the Kings and the Dodgers and everything when I was a kid. And then I went goth and was like, sports is lame through high school and part of college. But I started paying attention to sports again shortly after I started dating Kimmy because she's such a diehard Colorado Avalanche fan.
Yeah.
And so she would be watching hockey and I'm like, oh yeah, hockey is actually really cool. I should start watching hockey again. And then I started watching all the Kings games and she was like, if you're going to get into hockey, you could have at least gotten into the same team as me. Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. But anytime the Avs are in town, we'll usually try to make that game. And it's always a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. The cool story about the Kings, a girl that I went to high school with worked for the Kings for a number of years, but she was there when they won those 2 Stanley Cups, and she has 2 Stanley Cup rings.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's right.
Really crazy. We hung out with her a lot in LA. She knew, I'm a big hockey guy. She'd come over with them, like, oh, you're so cool.
Just wearing them, like, what's up?
Yeah. 2 Stanley Cup rings. Yeah. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
I wonder if she still works for the Chargers. She ended up working for the Chargers, I think it was. No, the Rams. She started working for the Rams.
Oh, so she's got a Super Bowl ring too.
Yeah, yeah. And she, her whole family is in professional sports. Like when we were in high school, her dad worked for the Dolphins. She has like an uncle that works for another NFL team. I'm not sure. Her brother works for another sports organization. Like their whole family had just gotten into sports in the front office.
That's nuts.
Yeah, which is wild. I think she's a lawyer now and like draws up like player contracts and shit.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a crazy.
That's a career, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
How?
But she wasn't doing that for the Kings though. I don't know what she was doing, but was doing something high up enough to get a ring.
Yeah, to get 2 rings.
Which is crazy that the whole like organization fucking gets that. It's cool.
Yeah, I think that's in other sports too, because I feel like the Dodgers, anyone who worked for the Dodgers last year also got a World Series ring.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. Just looking at it and be like, yep, we all earned this together. Me and my the 30 hours or whatever a week that I showed up and emailed spreadsheets back and forth. Like
right.
I did my part.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. But cool, man. Well, nice. Yeah, that was fun. I'm glad that we got to talk hockey for a little bit.
For sure.
And you can still make your Kings Oilers game 1 that starts in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Which I'll probably be watching.
I'm excited about it. I know I was like, oh, we're facing the Oilers again. This is a fucking like,
I think you guys got
a rivalry thing.
I think Kings have it.
But Kimmy was like, even after watching that docuseries, you want Connor McDavid to lose? And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. It's like,
Amazon one.
Yeah, she was like, you don't want him to finally get his ring. I was like, no, he can get it next year. It was like the King. Like if he's going against my team, I'm gonna root for my team.
Of course, yeah. And like, look, I mean, he played against my team for the finals, and I want him to get a Stanley Cup. Like I especially all the like really talented elite players. Like I hate the Toronto Maple Leafs. I say hate, like that's how I felt when I was like 10. Like now it's whatever. But like there's rivalries there. But like I still want to see Austin Matthews win a cup one day. Like I don't want someone that skilled in the game to not, do something like that, like really fulfill that dream. And McDavid is just too fucking special of a human being to not get his name on the cup. Like, that would be a tragedy. That would be a true tragedy.
Yeah.
But I think this year is the year that the Kings knock out the Oilers in the first round. I think it's the year.
Hope so.
I think
from your lips. Yeah.
I think so. But yeah, we'll see how game 1 goes here.